We have a lot to get to on today's Cleveland Browns report, from a Mel Kiper mock draft to Baker Mayfield injury news, and even a little juice for you guys at the end who subscribed early. But first, do you like the NFL draft or NFL free agency more? Personally, I love the NFL draft. I think it's one of the coolest sporting events every single year because you're just sitting either on your couch with your family or you're in the green room at the draft, and one moment you could be moving to Buffalo and the next you could be moving to San Francisco. But let me know what you think in the comments section below. Give me a D for draft or an FA for free agency while this intro video rolls. Today's Cleveland Browns report is all about a Mel Kiper mock draft that came out just a few hours ago, early this morning as we film on a Wednesday. And then at the end, we'll touch on some Baker Mayfield injury update. He's getting surgery. We'll get you all the details on that. Plus, like I mentioned, I wrote a letter to Jarvis Landry to try and keep him in Cleveland for everyone that subscribed. But first, let's get to it. A Mel Kiper mock draft came out, and it's a little early because we still don't even know the entire draft order. But then again, I don't think it's ever really too early for a mock draft. It's always fun to just look and see who could be playing for your team next season. And the Browns, well, Mel Kiper has them selecting Garrett Wilson. I think it's a great pick out of Ohio State, the wide receiver, 13th overall. I'm sure tons of Browns fans watching this are also Buckeye fans, but if you're not and you haven't watched much of this guy, put on his highlight reel for 5 minutes on YouTube and you'll see he's the real deal. He's the complete package in a lot of ways, and that means he can do a ton of things very well, okay? He's not just a deep threat guy, or he's not just a slot receiver. You can move him all across the line of scrimmage. You can line up just about anywhere you want him to. He's got elite speed, but he's not just like a fast cat. He can climb up a tree and be a red zone target too, and he's one of the best route runners in this draft class for wide receivers. Look at his numbers this year, and this is with a Ohio State team that was loaded with talent at wide receivers, and he was still able to get over 1,000 yards, hauled in 12 TDs. Garrett Wilson, one of the best, if not the best. You can ask a variety of different people who they think is the number one wide receiver, and you'll get a bunch of different answers. I think he's number one, personally. But let me ask this question to you guys. Do you like the pick? I mean, is this something you can get behind, having Garrett Wilson go from Columbus to Cleveland? If so, give me a Y for yes or an N for no. And while you are doing that, make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the Cleveland Browns Report on YouTube, because here's my little pitch to you. All offseason, we're going to have Browns draft targets, mock draft, draft rumors, basically wall-to-wall coverage of the upcoming NFL draft and even free agency. And if that's something you're looking for, then you found the best spot to do it. We're at 4,200 subscribers. Help us get to 5,000. Hit that big red button and subscribe. Let's look a little deeper at Mel Kiper's mock draft. So the Browns take Wilson at 13. I just wanted to show you guys who is selected around that pick. So the first quarterback taken, by the way, is Malik Willis, going to Washington at 11. But I don't expect the Browns to draft a quarterback, at least not in the first round. And then here are some other players around Wilson, just to get a gauge of who's going. So Ahmad Sauce Gardner, a good corner. Browns don't need a corner. It's drafted one last year. Tyler Lindenbaum, probably the best center we've seen in quite some time. One of the best offensive linemen we've seen in quite a while. Probably since Quentin Nelson, maybe. He's going 14th to Baltimore. Browns don't need a center, though. And then Devin Lloyd, a linebacker. I think if the Browns picked up a ton of wide receiver talent in free agency, maybe they pick a linebacker like Devin Lloyd, but he drafted JOK last year, although he can't do it all on his own. The Browns haven't had a true dominant linebacker in a very long time, since like DeQuell Jackson. Now, let's look at some other wide receivers that were taken in this mock draft from Mel Kiper. It goes to show that he likes Drake London a little more. He's got the Jets at 10, taking the USC wide receiver, and then the Browns snagged the second wide receiver off the board at 13. Wilson's teammate at Ohio State, Chris Olave, who also a very good wide receiver, but I just like Wilson a little bit more, falls to the Eagles at 19. Jamison Williams, if he doesn't tear his ACL, I don't even think it impacts his draft stock that much, but if he doesn't tear it, then I don't think I would like to see him probably go to the Browns, but hard to say right now. And Jahan Dotson out of Penn State, he goes to Miami at 26. The Browns need a wide receiver. That is very obvious. That is their biggest need this offseason. There's no doubt about it, nothing around it. But I think this issue can be addressed twice, meaning I don't think the Browns can just look at this and go, let's draft Garrett Wilson in the NFL draft, and we don't need to worry about free agency. No. Even if the Browns in free agency sign Michael Gallup or Allen Robinson or another big-ish name, I don't think they're going to lure Devontae Adams. He's the coveted wide receiver right now. That doesn't mean, or Chris Godwin, for example, that they can't go and draft someone in the first round. I would be very happy if the Browns made a 1-2 punch at wide receiver and drafted and signed someone and then drafted someone, especially if Jarvis Landry isn't coming back, which I hope he is. I made a little pitch, so stay tuned for that later on in the video. But I'm just saying, don't be worried if the Browns sign someone in free agency, and that means they're not going to draft someone in the first round. I don't think that's going to be the case. Now, with Mel Kiper's picks in pretty early, but give me a grade. Let me know where you're thinking on. I'll give you my grade in just a moment. We're giving it an A, B, C, D, or F. I'd be hard-pressed to find anyone who think it's that bad, but let me know what you're thinking. This is a democracy at Chat Sports, and one of the great things about it is I love interacting with you guys in the comments section below. I give this one an A. I like the pick a lot. I think it addresses the Browns' biggest need, which is wide receiver. Regardless of how Baker is playing or played last year, give him some help. And so, more importantly, give your team some help because this is a position that has been, outside of Landry, kind of lacking a little bit lately. We don't need to dive into it, but OBJ didn't pan out how you thought it would. And I love DPJ, but I don't know if he's really ready to be a wide receiver 1 or 2. And Higgins just isn't that reliable. You drafted Anthony Schwartz last season in the 3rd round. Injury riddled most of his rookie season. Hopefully he can come to play next season. But I like this pick a lot. I think the Browns need a wide receiver. So don't mess around. Don't overthink it. Get the best guy on the board when you're picking, and take Garrett Wilson. Before we get to Baker Mayfield's injury update, we've got this great deal going on at Fanatics. Look at this 2-shirt combo right now. You can get a short sleeve t-shirt and a long sleeve tee because it's 25% off right now. So get this deal, $37 when you go to chatsports.com/BrownsT. Got to use that link. It's also in the comments and the description. If you don't remember it, no worries. I got your back there. But we all know it's still pretty cold right now. It's January. It's cold right by the lake. And also we all know that even when spring comes around, April can be a pretty bitch of a month. It can be hot one day and cold the next day. So you got a long sleeve tee and you got a short sleeve tee to help balance it all out throughout the spring. Let's get into the Baker Mayfield talk. He's been a little quiet on the news and rumor side of the stick lately, but he did have a big announcement he dropped very late last night. But I follow him on Instagram, so that way you guys, if you don't have to or you're not on Instagram, I can keep you posted. So he put this on his Instagram story late last night, saw it before I went to bed. Appreciate all the prayers and good luck wishes on the surgery tomorrow. Excited to get it done and start the road to recovery tomorrow. I'll keep y'all updated. Thankful to have an amazing support group to help through this process. So, Baker Mayfield getting the shoulder surgery that was put off for months and months. In fact, nearly 4 months, almost to the day of when that initial shoulder injury happened in Week 2 against the Texans. Ended up having a completely torn labrum and then a fractured humerus against the Cardinals later on. Dr. Orr, I'm just going to call him L because I can't pronounce that, scheduled to perform the surgery Wednesday. So as we record this, that is today in Los Angeles. The probably biggest note I'm taking away from this is, well, one, it's 2022, so doctors are really good at their job. This is going to be, I'm sure, knock on wood, a perfect surgery. But the rehab is expected to take 4 to 6 months. Now, that's only January right now, so that seems kind of fine in football minds. But 6 months from right now is July, which is right up until training camp starting. So I'm not going to, overreact too much. But if Baker is still not 100% ready in August, then I'll be a little concerned because, well, you put off the surgery until after the season was over. You could have done it in December, but I get it. Baker's a really tough guy, and I commend him for that. And he wants to go out and battle for his team, battle for his teammates. But if he's not going to be ready next season because they delayed his surgery or the rehab's longer because of the delay, I'll be a little upset. But go ahead and spam your 6s in the comment section below to wish Baker Mayfield a speedy recovery. I get it. It can be a bit of a polarizing topic, but if you're getting surgery, I wouldn't want you to not have a speedy recovery just because you threw an interception. So go ahead and drop a 6 down below. Here's the deal, plain and simple, like Ricky Bobby style. Like or hate him, He's QB1. Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski were pretty open about the fact that he is going to be the starting quarterback next season, barring anything unforeseen. And I don't see the Browns making a big trade or drafting a quarterback in the first round to bring in some serious competition. So hopefully he recovers well, and hopefully he balls out next season, because I think anyone that doesn't believe in Baker Mayfield can agree if he balls out and proves them wrong, then we're all winners, right? As long as the Browns are winning and winning playoff games, who cares if you were wrong a couple months ago on your Baker Mayfield take? As long as Cleveland is, just destroying the factory of sadness, then I can get behind it. All right, let's wrap up the show by giving you guys, I should say, my letter to Jarvis Landry and the Cleveland Browns. So last week I said, hey, for every single person that subscribes to this video, I'm going to write Jarvis Landry and the Cleveland Browns a letter trying to keep Landry in Cleveland because he's scheduled to make a lot of money next season, coming off an injury riddle this season. There's some talk out there of him being a cap casualty. So here is what I wrote to Landry and the Browns. Dear Jarvis, Drews, Charles Landry, and Andrew Berry, my name is Matthew Peterson, but I'm sure you already know that as a loyal subscriber to the Cleveland Browns Report on YouTube. I tasked the U.S. Postal Service with an extra letter today to plead for Landry to return to the Browns in 2022. I have 3 reasons why Landry should return to Cleveland in 2022. 1. In his 4 years with the Browns, they have won 32 games. It took the Browns 9 seasons beforehand to get more than a combined 32 wins. 2, not a guy who gets extra slaw at Canes. That's a trustworthy fella. Number 3, Landry is in my Mount Rushmore of Browns players I would want to crush beers with in the Muni Lot. Joe Thomas, Josh Cribbs, and Johnny Manziel, obviously. I look forward to hearing back from you all, and as always, make sure to subscribe and like the Browns Report on YouTube. From Matthew Peterson. Guys, if you want more change, you want to get wins back, well, we can only do one letter at a time, but every single little Hancock at the end of each of these letters help. That way our voices are heard, even if it's through the Pony Express. So go ahead and subscribe to the Cleveland Browns Report on YouTube. Hit that big red button, and we'll catch you later, Browns fans, with the latest news and rumors all offseason long.